Good morning, McKendree. I'm Katie Wilson, and I've taken on the task of elementary crafts for VBS for the last 2 years. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about VBS this morning and why I take off an entire week of work every year to volunteer at VBS. First of all, what an amazing week we just had here. 160 kids? That's incredible. How awesome is that? So for 4 days, we learned about the love and light of Jesus. It's absolutely incredible. I grew up going to VBS, and it was always the best week of the summer. Now, my little country church that I grew up in didn't really have themes every year. We didn't have a lot of people or money, and Pinterest wasn't a thing yet. So we couldn't decorate quite like McKendree does now, but the volunteers made it magical every single year. We sang songs, we learned Bible stories, we had snacks, and we used our fair share of puff paint on t-shirts. Like the other kids, I gobbled up the goldfish and the homemade Rice Krispie treats in about 2 minutes. I held on to the crafts and played with them for a couple weeks. I wore the puff paint shirt for about a year or so until it didn't fit anymore. But the Bible stories and the love of Jesus that VBS instilled in me, that I have held on to ever since. And I bet a lot of you have very similar stories and memories of VBS. As an adult now, I realize that the magic was actually a dedicated group of volunteers, including my own mamaw making those homemade Rice Krispie treats. They were acting as the hands and feet of God to share his love with our church and our community. So can you guys actually just do me a favor? I want to recognize a few people who helped make VBS such a success this year. Church staff, if you can just raise your hands. And keep them up. Keep them up for me. Children's Council members, everybody keep your hands up after you've raised them. Children's Council. If you were an area leader, crew leaders, if you were a youth volunteer, if you were a floater, if you helped us decorate the church 2 weeks ago, if you attended VBS as a preschooler, an elementary student, or you went to Extreme, keep your hands raised. If you volunteered on Great Day of Service to help us do VBS projects. If you prayed for the volunteers or the kids coming to VBS, raise your hands. If you're here today for VBS Sunday, raise your hands. If you're watching from home on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and keep your hands raised. So everybody's hands should be raised at this point because VBS is a church-wide event. Every single one of us had a hand in making VBS not just possible, but an amazing opportunity for McKendree UMC to shine Jesus' light. Say it with me. Shine Jesus' light. So for me, this ministry fills my spiritual cup, and I can't wait to do it all again next year with all of you. Thank you.